The Vietnam War, from 1954 to 1975. The Vietnam War was between the North and the South, the North being the Communist force. In 1945, Ho Chi Minh declares independence from France. A specialized North Vietnamese Army unit, Group 559, was formed to create a supply route to transport materials from North Vietnam to Viet Cong forces in South Vietnam. This eventually became known as the Ho Chi Minh Trail. In 1961, the United States fully entered the Vietnam War and ordered John F. Kennedy. By 1969, there were more than 500,000 U.S. military personnel that were stationed in Vietnam for the war. During this time period, the Soviet Union and China had also started to help out the Communist forces in the North by giving them weapons, supplies, and advisors. In mid-February of 1964, the United States began a campaign of sustained airstrikes without public announcement. In 1965, Johnson began to dispatch another 100,000 troops to Vietnam. By 1966, Johnson dispatched an additional 100,000 troops to Vietnam, and it was all-out war. Even though Johnson had fully thought out how many troops they should send, they weren't really sure what they would be doing in Vietnam. They gave little thought to it. Unlike the North, the South was falling apart, leaving all military actions to the South to Westmoreland. To support the South, the U.S. had brought 4 new jet-capable air bases, 75 tactical air bases, 26 hospitals, and more than 10 million square feet of warehousing. By the fall of 1965, U.S. Marines and soldiers had clashed with the NVA and Viet Cong troops in bloody battles at the Ban Tan Gan Peninsula, south of Da Nang, and the La Drang Valley in the Central Highlands. In 1968, Nixon was elected as president, who then began secret bombing runs in Cambodia without the public or Congress knowing for 14 months. In 1969, Ho Chi Minh dies at age 79. Around this time, news of My Lai massacre spread through the public by journalist Seymour Hersh. The first time they read the atrocities committed by Lieutenant William Calley, he is then charged for murder. In 1970, National Guardsmen opened fire on a crowd of student anti-war protesters at Ohio's Cade State University, resulting in the death of 4 students and wounding 8 others. By the end of 1972, Nixon cut the troop level in Vietnam to 70,000. Also, by the end of 1972, Nixon gets reelected as president. In 1972, B-52s bomb Hanoi and Haiphong, trying to make it clear to the North Vietnamese that no part of Vietnam is off limits to B-52s. Also, Kissinger says peace is at hand. In 1973, a ceasefire was signed in Paris, and because of that, the last troops were pulled out of Vietnam. Also, Kissinger and Lee Duc get nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. While Kissinger accepts, Lee Duc refuses because real peace in Vietnam does not exist yet. In 1974, Theo announces the renewal of the war, but it's only against South Vietnamese forces, as all U.S. troops have pulled out of Vietnam. In 1975, Hue falls to the communists, and now Saigon is what they want to take next. After invading Saigon, communist forces capture the South Vietnamese president Duong Van Minh, delivers an unconditional surrender to the communists in the early hours of April 30th. And the new President Ford announces that the war is over as far as U.S. concerns. The end.
This was really hard, Miss Bangs. I can't believe you made us do this.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard.
Yeah, it was
My
pretty
hand
baller.
was tired.
Pretty baller, yeah.